Greaser versus sock. You know, it's got to be one of the most iconic rivalries in all of literature, straight from S.C. Hinton's classic, The Outsiders. Now, on the surface, it looks like a simple story, right? Two gangs locked in this bitter conflict. But as we're about to see, the real fight isn't just between them. It's with the world that forced them into these corners in the first place.
Okay, so the battle lines are drawn right from the get-go. Over on the east side, you've got the greasers, working-class kids defined by their long, greaseback hair and tough guy look. And then, from the wealthy west side come the socks. That's short for socials. The kids with all the money, the fancy cars, and, all the social power. The divide couldn't be clearer. It's about money, where you live, and what you look like.
But is it really that simple? Is this whole thing just rich kids versus poor kids? Or is there something much, much deeper going on underneath the leather jackets and the preppy shirts? Well, that's the big question we're going to deconstruct.
To really get to the heart of this conflict, we have to understand the world they're living in. This isn't just some random town. It's a town literally split right down the middle by class.
So, first up we have the greasers. And yeah, they are the outsiders from the title. Their identity isn't just about their hair, it's forged in this constant economic struggle. For them, life is a daily grind, for money, for respect, for a place in a world that feels like it's already written them off.
And then you've got their rivals, the socks. They live in a totally different universe. Born on the wealthy west side, they represent this world of privilege and power. While the greasers have to fight for every little thing, the socks seem to have it all just handed to them.
Now, the setting here is so important. This wasn't some historical fantasy. When Hinton published the book in 1967, she was writing about modern life. It all takes place in 1960s Tulsa, and the story plugged right into the anxieties of a generation that was dealing with massive social change and a gap between the rich and poor that was just getting wider and wider.
And this is what makes the story so much more than just teenage drama. The whole conflict is rooted in this real-world, post-war economic divide. The greasers' resentment isn't just attitude, right? It comes from being systematically shut out. And the socks' aggression? Well, a lot of that is fueled by this deep-seated fear of losing the privileged status they've always taken for granted. It's a perfect storm of class injustice.
So we've seen the world from the outside. Now let's step inside it. Let's experience this divide through the eyes of the person at the very heart of this story.
We see everything through the eyes of one character, Ponyboy Curtis. And this is just a brilliant move, because it means we, the readers, we learn and we grow right alongside him. We see the world through his eyes, which, at first, are pretty biased.
And Ponyboy is not your typical gang member. Not at all. He's only 14, and he's more interested in books and sunsets than in fighting. This sensitivity makes him a really sharp observer, but it also kind of makes him an outsider even within his own group. It gives him this unique perspective that the other guys just don't have.
And through Ponyboy, we get it. The greasers aren't some criminal organization. They're a family, a found family. This bond, this loyalty, it's everything to them. It's their shield against a world that's already decided they're nothing but trouble.
And this is where everything starts to change. That simple, black and white, us versus them world that Ponyboy has painted for us, well, it's about to get completely shattered. The turning point comes from the most unlikely person you can imagine, a sock girl named Cherry Valance. She tells Ponyboy, things are rough all over. It's such a simple sentence, but wow, its impact is massive. It's the first time he's ever been forced to think that maybe money and status don't actually protect you from pain.
And with that one sentence, the wall between their two worlds just starts to crack. Ponyboy can't see the socks as just a faceless mob of rich kids anymore. He starts to see them as individuals, people who have their own hidden struggles. He starts seeing the person, not the label.
And this reveals the new reality of their world. I mean, the greaser struggles are obvious, right? Poverty, violence, neglect. But the socks, they're facing a whole different kind of pain, an invisible struggle. It's the emptiness that comes from having everything, the lack of real boundaries, and this crushing pressure to be perfect all the time.
But just as this new understanding starts to form, the cycle of violence just spirals completely out of control, revealing its devastating and deeply human cost.
And then it all just escalates with terrifying speed. A fight goes too far, and in a moment of pure panic, Johnny kills a sock to save Ponyboy.
That one act of violence sets off this catastrophic chain reaction. They go on the run, hiding out in a church that catches fire. In this incredible moment of heroism, they save a group of kids trapped inside, but Johnny is fatally injured. And Dally, who can't handle losing the one person he ever loved, basically commits suicide by provoking the police until they shoot him down. 3 deaths, all because of one fight.
And it's on his deathbed that Johnny has the story's most profound realization. He tells Ponyboy the fighting is useless, no good. In his final moments, he sees the absolute pointlessness of all the rivalry and the hate. It's a powerful lesson about the real cost of violence, learned at the highest possible price.
So, after all the tragedy, what's the novel's big message? Why does this story from the 1960s still resonate so powerfully today?
At the end of the day, this whole story is a powerful, powerful call for empathy. It's a demand that we look past all the superficial labels, the money, the clothes, which side of town you're from, and recognize the shared humanity that's underneath it all. It's the simple but profound truth that things are rough all over.
And this leads us to Johnny's final, iconic message. He's referencing a Robert Frost poem they once read together when he tells Ponyboy to stay gold. It's a plea, really. He's asking him to hold on to his innocence, his sensitivity, to not let the world's darkness and cruelty make him hard. It's this beautiful message of hope, right in the middle of all the tragedy.
And that leaves us with one last unavoidable question. The labels have definitely changed. It's not greaser and sock anymore, but these social divides are still very, very much with us. So the question the book forces us to ask ourselves is this: who are the outsiders in our world today? And maybe more importantly, are we willing to look past the label and see the person underneath?